I am a big fan of .NET Aspire since the beta version of this. So that's why I like to share this. Um, Before I continue to the real Aspire topic or discussions, I'm gonna start with refreshing our knowledge about event-driven architecture. So basically, in event-driven architecture, there are three main components, and these are first a producer. Of course, this is the component that sends different messages or events to message broker, which is the second main component of event-driven architecture. So what this message broker is doing is messages and events are being just routed to different consumers, which is the third main component of event-driven architecture. So if we have comparison between request response versus event driven, of course we are going to talk about synchronous and asynchronous communication and inversion of control. So in this one, we can think of this in request response model. So the sender will just send the request to receiver and it waits. Where if we compare this to event-driven model, there's this publisher where it just sends different messages and events, and it doesn't care how this event and message is being consumed by the consumer. So yeah, so it just sends data there. And also in this request response model, sender needs to know about the information about needs to know the receiver, the information of the receiver. So if the name needs to be defined, the sender needs to know that. The parameters needs to know. Sender needs to know that parameter as well. So imagine if we have multiple services, like what I have put here. So in yellow boxes, so you can imagine you have multiple microservices, and that needs to be known by sender. On the other hand, as I have mentioned, publisher doesn't really know the information of consumer because these consumers can be changed. And if we go to this simple architecture flow, so let's imagine we have this, I call this video on demand subscription flow. So here, it's like the user will tap the API gateway and send a request to subscription service, which produce a new event, which is new subscriber, and just pass it this different events and messages asynchronously. So, and this API gateway user can get the response right away without having to wait all the processes here. Yeah, so again, I am Ryan Yudisan. I came from the Philippines. I am currently working at TICAN as cloud architect, and I have multiple social media here. You can just you can add me if you are interested about the different topics that I am sharing publicly. You can check my sessioner's profile. I have YouTube channel, but I'm not so active as of the moment about that. You can also check my GitHub profile for my sample project or practice projects there. So let's go back to the .NET Aspire topic. So .NET Aspire supports different integrations, different messaging integrations, so that can handle the sample architecture that I've shown earlier. So Apache Kafka, so this is very well known, and Netflix is using this. RabbitMQ for message broker. This is also supported by .NET Aspire. Of course, Azure Service Bus is also supported. This is the enterprise message broker that it is supported, of course, and other messaging integrations. So Event Hubs, of course, for data ingestions and some other integrations there. There's also these NATs and NATS and yeah, SIGNAR for real-time messaging. So what is .NET Aspire and why do I use this? There is a session getting started with .NET Aspire later, but I like to give you a high-level overview about this one. Actually, this is .NET Aspire is like a dev tools that can help you building distributed applications without well, less configurations or less hassle or less complicated. You just need to write your code, then underlying infrastructure will be generated for you. So you don't need to think about YAML files for different this service discovery. So .NET Aspire will help you in that one. Why do I use this as a .NET developer? I should use this, especially if I will work with different microservices that distributed application. I will probably use it. To be honest, I don't code anymore much. I am more like designing the system, but yeah, I still love .NET, so I will. I am still proposing this to my team. How do I start working with .NET Aspire? So there are different prerequisites, and these are the prerequisites. Of course, the .NET SDK should be installed. Docker Desktop or Podman for containerizations, and your favorite code editor. So C# Dev Kit is also recommended. So because there are lots of features that you can take advantages using that plugin, VS Code plugin. By the way, I always use Visual Studio Code. So yeah. How do I deploy this? So I believe there's a new Azure command line where you can use deploying your .NET Aspire. But this slide, I used this last 6 months ago, so it could have an additional tool for this one. But you can work with Azure Bicep if you want. You can also work with Azure CLI. And the last one is my favorite one, which is Azure Developer CLI. If you're not familiar with this, just search it. You can get different templates, starting template project. There's a lot of tools, what you call this, commands that you can use or that can help you. I'm gonna show you that later on the demo if I still have time. Okay, so demo time. I'm not really good at presenting, so let's start opening my terminal. And I hope, there's my mouse. Okay, let's terminal. Okay. Okay, let's create let's create a folder .NET T. Did I spell it right? .NET T. Okay. Let's type this. Okay, just to because I'm sorry. .NET T. Hey, and okay, I need to set that version because I don't have the latest one, so it is my personal laptop. So I will stick with version .NET version 8. Great. So let me start adding new, creating new .NET Aspire. New Aspire starter. This starter. Okay. New starter. This starter. Sorry. Okay. Start with. Okay. What this does is it will generate the project template for me. So you can, .NET Aspire has different templates. You can just have this template where you just need this app host. So you will learn this in the session about getting started with .NET Aspire. So I will not get into that detail. So let me just, okay, go to that. Okay, here's my Visual Studio Code. Okay. Okay. Make this bigger. So as I had mentioned, .NET LCI will generate this 3 projects. Actually, the main 2 projects here are app host and service defaults. These are the default projects of .NET Aspire. And the other 2 are backend API or simple REST API project and the web Blazor application. So if we go, if we check this real quick, so AppHost has this initial implementation. So AppHost is like, imagine this is the orchestrator of your different microservices. You can just put all your service discovery and link here. So I'm going to show you later. Yeah, but for now, just imagine AppHost is the orchestrator. And this one, this default service, service default is the like shared services of all your microservices. I can say, I may say that. So if you check this extensions, there are lots of shared services here where your future microservice can use automatically. Okay, so let's try to run this and see .NET Aspire in action. So .NET run project. So you need to run the app host, because app host is like the heart of .NET Aspire. Let's run this and see this in action. Okay, then click this one. Let's put it in here. I wasn't expected that, but okay, let's let me check what is happening here. Okay, so let me try. Okay. Okay. Let me just copy this. Maybe I just really oversee something here because of the monitor, but let's try to run that now. Yeah, okay, so I just clicked something, but I did not understand what happened there. So as you can see here, .NET Aspire will give you a powerful or useful dashboard where you can see different applications you are adding to your .NET solution. So here it provides you different endpoints that you can access your backend. Let's just click that, which just a generic API returning whether it's data. And this is the front end, which is a default or template of Blazor. You just click that, and Yeah, so these informations are coming from coming from the API service. Before I go back to the code, so I just want to give you a little tour here. So you have different logs. You can check logs of your current running applications. You also have this uh, nice structured information. Also, you also have traces for different requests. You can check that here. Imagine you are building distributed applications locally. And metrics, you also have this one. So there are lots of information that you can use here, or you can have here. Okay, so let's just close this and go back to the. Okay. So the all of the you saw in the dashboard Aspire is like this. I mean, the .NET Aspire provide you to just have a little code for that one. So it's like you need to map this project, which is API service here. Projects that, well, Aspire will automatically search this project once you include that project or reference that project to app host. Your web is also here, so you just need to add a name. It's up to you how do you name your services. And if you want to talk your front end to your back end, you just need to add this with reference to this project, and the API can now be read by your front end. Okay, so that's the basic Aspire starter. But I would like to proceed with my main topic. So for that, I need to maybe I will try creating a service bus. So I will need to open my console here, and I have also some sheet here. So I need to copy this. So let's just wait a little bit. So what I will do now is I will create a service bus in my subscription so that Data Aspire will consume it or will use it. Okay, where's my mouse pointer? Paste. They Aspire. Let's generate resource group first. So for those.
Location is missing a L.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, I cannot see it really well here.
Yeah, press it again.
Yeah, thanks.
It's an L.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the help. So let me just now create the namespace of service bus. Is L there? Okay, L is there. Okay, just to make sure. Then after that, I need to create a topic for my service bus, of course, so that the .NET Aspire or reader of the message will use it. Let's just wait for 1 minute. Not 1 minute. It's but that should be quick. Great. Then I'm gonna create this topic now. Is L there? Okay. I'm so scared about this L. Okay. Then consumer. So let's create consumer. I already created this topic. Then I need to create subscript. Which one? Or the one who will monitor this. Is L there? Okay. Okay. So everything is created. Let me just check real quick. So it should have that day. Okay, so that day expires here. So I have the